Okay, Lauren, so in our last video, we were discussing how we need to focus on the abilities that a person with dementia has retained, as opposed to the abilities that they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So today we want to talk a little bit about communication. And it seems that frequently a person with dementia loses the ability to, to find the right words to say.
Mm-hmm.
They can't remember words very easily. So when this starts to happen, does this mean that we're not able to communicate with our loved one anymore?
No, absolutely not. Remember, we need to look at where they are on the disease process, and it may become more and more difficult to communicate verbally. There's other ways to communicate, though.
Okay.
But still, verbal language is very, very important. To back up just a little bit, just as we want to focus on what abilities the person still retains, we want to not just focus on the disease. We want to focus on the disease process or understand the disease process, but we want to make sure that we are looking at the person as the person that they are and they've always been.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, communication is still important, and verbal communication is still very, very important. But if we look at Alzheimer's, what happens in early Alzheimer's is the thought processes, the mental processes are slowing down.
Mm.
So it takes longer for somebody to comprehend what you're saying and to formulate their answer. They're still going to comprehend what you're saying. They're still going to be able to formulate that answer. It's just going to take a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of times they may find, like you said, have a hard time retrieving the word that they want to say.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. When you're having a conversation with somebody, and this happens,
Right.
they're having trouble finding a word, what's your automatic response?
So yeah, my automatic response would be to try to find that word that they're looking for, and I probably, being the person that I am, will probably spit out a few different options within a few seconds.
Exactly. Okay. And what happens with that is a couple of things. Okay. Number one, now the person with Alzheimer's is focusing on what you're saying.
Okay.
And they've forgotten what they were going to say.
So I've completely distracted them and derailed their train of thought.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So now they can't give you the answer. It's very, very important to allow for that slower process. Give them a little bit of time to try to find that word. If they can't, then ask, do you mean? If you see that they're still struggling.
Okay.
And that's perfectly okay.
Okay.
But give them time. Or if maybe a third party's involved, ask them, would you like me to explain it? Because then you're showing respect for their feelings.
Okay.
And if they still can't do it, ask them to show you. Maybe they can show you what it is. I want a drink of water, but I can't say I want that glass of water.
Okay, gotcha. So how does short-term memory loss affect the communication?
Okay, short-term memory loss is going to affect it in a couple of ways, okay? As short-term memory diminishes, the ability to follow a conversation is going to diminish as well.
Okay.
So if you say too many things, a complex sentence, and maybe string several together, I'm going to remember what you said at the very end, but I'm not going to remember what you said in the beginning.
Right.
So keep your sentences short, keep them direct. Any instructions, maybe give them 2 directions at a time. They might be able to follow some simple written instructions early in dementia. But as it progresses, you're going to have to give one direction at a time. The other thing that you can do to help the person is to slow down the speed of your speech.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because again, if you're speaking too quickly, someone like me, I'm very, very fast-paced. That's hard for me to do.
Right.
But if I'm speaking too quickly, the person can't follow because they're processing too slowly. So slow your speech down.
Okay. So what happens when you get a person with dementia and they keep asking the same question over and over again? How do we handle that?
It's part of the short-term memory problem. I don't remember that I just asked you that
Right.
question a minute ago.
Right, and this can be, speaking from experience, it can be a little bit frustrating on one hand, and on the other hand, I want to have a conversation with my loved one, but I'm getting kind of bored personally when this is happening. How do we handle this situation?
Yeah. Well, it can be really frustrating too. First, we need to remember that we're dealing with a failing brain. It's not a matter of the person trying harder to remember. Do you answer the same question over and over? Yeah. And you answer it like it's the first time it was asked, because to them, it's the first time they asked it. The humorous story, my son with my mother-in-law who had Alzheimer's, she would ask the same question over and over, and I expressed some frustration about it to him one day. And he said, "You know what I do, Mom?" He said, "I just give her a different answer every time." I was like, "Oh, you didn't, really? That's horrible." And he says, "You know, it works because I'm able to stay patient then.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at her, Mom. It just helps me to stay patient." I tried it, and she says, "Lauren, you gave me a different answer the last time I asked you that." And I said, "Oh, I got caught." Yeah, it didn't work. But the point is that, you know, therapeutic fiblets, little white lies, are okay as long as it's helping to maintain the person's, or help them to attain a positive state of mind. And it's perfectly okay to redirect. You know, answer the question and then maybe engage them in a favorite activity. You know, and then they're going to stop asking that question, at least for a little while. You know, it's a great way to continue that communication and in that enjoyment of being with the person.
Great. Thank you so much, Lauren.
You bet.